Danny Gilfillan for Boxing News, delighted to be joined with Carl Frampton here in Altrincham. We've just seen a domestic thriller between Jack Rafferty and Mark Chamberlain. Carl, first of all, majority draw, the official verdict. How did you have it?
I scored it a draw as well. It was a really close fight, and I think that just as it looked like Jack Rafferty was getting on top, and I think he was in my head because he'd won a few rounds before. I thought he was going to win round 11 and 12. Mark Chamberlain came out round 11 and boxed out of his skin, absolutely exhausted. He looked like he was exhausted from about round 4. So to be able to dig in and bite down the gum shield and pull out a draw, unbelievable performance from him. But Jack Rafferty, great performance too. I hope we see a rematch. I think we will, but I think them two boys need to rest up for quite a while after a fight like that. And when they have the rematch, I hope they get paid well tonight, but I hope it's at least doubled for another one. Unbelievable fight, and they deserve every penny.
You touched on the middle rounds where we in the media section remarked that it looked like it was getting really tough for Mark Chamberlain. The fight was taking the shape of sort of every Jack Rafferty fight where it's nip and tuck early, maybe gets outboxed a bit, and then the strength, the fitness came in. Just how much resolve, from a fighter's perspective, does Mark Chamberlain had to show there to get through that and then to win rounds in the later stages?
So much, absolutely so much. I mean, he'll probably have learned something new about himself there tonight, and I think that you don't want to have too many fights like that in your career, but I think one or two like that to just make you realise that I can actually do this. If it gets tough, I've been there before and I can dig in. Maybe the opponent can't. And mentally, these are all things that can take you forward. But I think you have to give so much credit to both. And you got to remember, a couple of fights ago, Mark Chamberlain got dropped and hurt and beat up pretty badly by Josh Padley, who's not a puncher. But that kind of just indicates that he was dead at the weight, and I think it was the right thing to do to move up the division. He's brought his power up with him. I think he hurt Rafferty a couple of times and stiffened his legs, and he certainly brought his resilience as well.
I'm not proud of the segue I'm about to make because we're talking about some of the best in boxing, and I want to get your thoughts on maybe the other side of things. Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis announced in a catch weight, I believe November 15th, the date. What was your reaction when you saw that?
Catch weight?
190.
Is it? It's mental. It's absolutely insane. Gervonta Davis, I imagine, probably walks around at 150, something like that, maybe a little bit more. But he's short. I've seen him. I'm short, and I can say that he's short. He's a little bit shorter than me, I think. It's going to be difficult just because of the size of Jake Paul. I mean, Gervonta Davis, of course, he's a much better boxer than Jake Paul is, but there's weight divisions for a reason. Imagine he chins him. It's going to look ridiculous. Well, if Jake, I think Gervonta Davis will have enough to know not to get chinned by Jake Paul, but there's a chance that just because of his size, and he could hold him and push him about and sap his energy and whatever, but I think if anyone's getting knocked out, it's Jake Paul. Let's just say that. I think that Gervonta Davis is too smart to get knocked out by Jake Paul, if that makes sense, even though he's a much bigger man in the fight.
Gervonta Davis hasn't showed a huge appetite for the fights fans want to see him in. The Shakur Stevenson, the world, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. Is this Jake Paul fight, when you factor in the amount of money he's going to make for that at, I think, 30 odd years old, 31 maybe by the time the fight rolls around, is that the final nail in the coffin for fans who hope to see any of those fights?
It looks like some of them fights are dead in the water for whatever reason, and if you are fighting Jake Paul at a catch weight of 190 when you're a lightweight or a light welter, whatever weight division he is these days, it's clearly a money fight. But I don't blame him as well. If you're getting, I don't know, how much money is he getting paid? At least 20 million, you would say. Insane, absolutely insane. If someone's offering you that, I mean, I would fight Goliath for 20 million and get filled in and be happy to get filled in. But I have a feeling that Gervonta Davis won't be getting into this fight in that sort of mindset.
Last one, I'll let you get off. We were expecting in some quarters for it to be Anthony Joshua in against Jake Paul. They seemed very keen, very willing to make that fight. Where now for AJ? I mean, he's not going to get an easier payday for the amount that you'd imagine a Jake Paul fight would be. Tony Yoka's been mentioned. Who do you reckon for AJ?
I heard him talk on TalkSport about Tony Yoka. I think Tony Yoka's a good fight for AJ. I mean, I don't know. A Jake Paul fight, fuck me, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I think it's a one-round fight, really, if it had have happened, and maybe that's the reason why Jake Paul doesn't fancy it. But I don't know which route AJ. I would like to see him in a fight like a Tony Yoka. I think it's a good fight. Two Olympic medalists from different Olympics. You can build a narrative around it. You can make a big story. And it's a fight that the winner can go on to a bigger and better fight afterwards.
Carl, great night of boxing here in Altrincham. We'll let you get off. Thanks for speaking to Boxing News. Bye. Before you go.